Making the headlines tonight, Singapore's foreign minister meets with Prime Minister Hun Sen and congratulates Cambodia on its success in preventing the spread of COVID-19. Foreign ministers of Singapore and Laos arrive in Cambodia for official 2-day state visit and to attend the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting. Following a meeting between the Russian President Vladimir Putin, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz tell a news conference it's our damn responsibility and our job to prevent a military escalation in Europe. World Anti-Doping Agency president says he wants Russian authorities to change the country's doping culture and conduct a thorough investigation into teenage figure skater Kamila Valieva's entourage. And a cute sloth is saved from electrocution and certain death after climbing up an electrical pole in Colombia's Antioquia province. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I am Deka Nin. The Singaporean Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan paid a courtesy call to Prime Minister Hun Sen on Wednesday, 16th of February at the Peace Palace in Phnom Penh. The Foreign Minister is in Cambodia for an official state visit, as well as to attend the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting beginning on Thursday. Singapore's Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan congratulated Cambodia on its success in preventing the spread of COVID-19. With Cambodia having the highest vaccination rates in the region and some developed countries and the lowest mortality rates, it allowed Cambodia to reopen quickly. He said that this is why Singaporean investors are interested in Cambodia. Speaking at a meeting with Prime Minister Hun Sen at the Peace Palace on February 16, Vivian Balakrishnan said that the success of Cambodia's anti-COVID-19 campaign has attracted Singaporean investors to invest in the Kingdom of Cambodia, especially in the field of trade, warehousing, as well as transportation. In this regard, Vivian Balakrishnan informed the Prime Minister that Singapore will continue to support and promote the expansion of cooperation, especially bilateral relations between the two countries, and support Cambodia as the chair of ASEAN. The Prime Minister thanked Vivian Balakrishnan for supporting Cambodia as the chair of ASEAN and considered Cambodia safe for the resumption of flights. He encouraged more investment in Cambodia to boost trade between the two countries and to look at possible cooperation in the fields of education, health, and other fields. During the meeting, the Prime Minister also talked about his trip to Myanmar, stating that the purpose of his visit was 1. To reduce or eliminate violence through ceasefire. 2. Was to find ways to provide humanitarian assistance to the people of Myanmar without discrimination. And 3. Is to establish dialogue. Due to the success of the vaccination campaign to target 100% of the targeted population, Cambodia fully reopened the country in all areas on November 1st, 2021. With the opening of the country, the Ministry of Economy expects that Cambodia's economic growth may be about 4.8% in 2022. The foreign ministers of Singapore and Laos have arrived in Cambodia to attend the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting and also pay an additional 2-day official state visit. Both foreign ministers have met with Prime Minister Hun Sen, Cambodian Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn, and other senior government officials, highlighting the positive relations between Cambodia and Singapore and Cambodia and Laos. EAC News reporter Robin Lim has more.
According to a statement released by the Cambodian Ministry of Foreign Affairs on 16 February, the main issues discussed by the Cambodian Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn and Singaporean Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan during their meeting focused on promoting and gaining momentum on bilateral trade and investment. The Cambodian side reportedly requested Singapore to increase imports of Cambodian agricultural products, prepare a memorandum of understanding between the two countries, trade chambers, and effectively implement the agreement of the avoidance of overlapping DATs. The statement added that Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn acknowledged the significant presence of Singaporean investment in Cambodia, which ranked 4th in investment activities in 2021, and further encouraged more investments from Singapore in the fields of technology, finance, innovation, digital economy, and agriculture. The two sides also discussed the importance of tourism and cooperation in recognizing vaccine certification between the two countries, as well as cooperation in human resource development, in aircraft maintenance, engineering, and civil aviation management. The foreign ministers also discussed security and defense cooperation and exchanged views on issues related to ASEAN. Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhonn also met with the Foreign Minister of Laos, Salume Komasit, and discussed bilateral relations, good neighborliness, and mutual understanding on topics related to politics, trade and investment, socio-economic linkages, defense and security, connectivity, transportation, border affairs, tourism, and education. The statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs included that the Cambodian and Laotian foreign ministers noted with satisfaction that their respective ministries are working together to expedite the finalization of the draft action plan for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, a comprehensive and long-term strategic partnership that aims to take bilateral relations between the two countries to a new level. The visits of both Singaporean and Laotian foreign ministers ended on Wednesday, 16th February, but the two will continue to attend ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting in Cambodia on 17 February 2022. Robin Lim, EAC News.
The Vietnamese Foreign Minister Bui Thanh Son tested positive for COVID-19 upon his arrival in Cambodia on Wednesday afternoon for the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting. EAC News reporter Dashana Gojen has more detail.
During a dinner held with the arrived ASEAN foreign ministers at the Sofitel Hotel on Wednesday night, Cambodian Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn confirmed that the Vietnamese foreign minister had tested positive for COVID-19 and wished for him to get well soon. Spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Chun Sun Ri told EAC News that the Vietnamese foreign minister will now attend the meeting online from his room, where the proper health and medical arrangements have been prepared for him. The ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting is being held in Cambodia on 17 February, with ministers from all ASEAN member states except Myanmar attending either in person or virtually. Darshana Gochan, EAC News.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhonn, spoke at a press conference after the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting on Thursday and said that economic recovery after the COVID-19 crisis was a major topic of discussion among the ASEAN foreign ministers. He also confirmed that he will be making his first official visit to Myanmar as the ASEAN Special Envoy in mid-March. At the press conference, Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhonn stated that since most ASEAN countries rely on tourism, a major topic of discussion among the foreign ministers at the meeting was the different ways ASEAN member states could revive the economy, especially within the framework of the ASEAN Economic Community. He added that other hot topics discussed included the establishment of a comprehensive partnership within ASEAN, geopolitical competition, strengthening ASEAN's overall capacity, and especially the current ongoing issue with Myanmar. On this subject, Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhonn also confirmed that he is scheduled to pay his first official visit to Myanmar as the ASEAN Special Envoy in mid-March, where he will meet with the different stakeholders involved in the country's ongoing conflict, including both members of the Myanmar military government and members of the opposition. He added that during his visit, he will also be distributing ASEAN humanitarian aid to the hospital in Myanmar. Previously, Prime Minister Hun Sen paid an official visit to Myanmar on the 7th to the 8th of January, where he met with the military leader Min Aung Hlaing. At the time, General Min Aung Hlaing promised Prime Minister Hun Sen that the Myanmar military government would extend its ceasefire until the end of 2022, and also helped to facilitate the visit of the ASEAN Special Envoy to meet with all parties involved in the country's ongoing conflict, including ethnic armed groups. The ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting took place on Thursday, February 17, 2022, at the Sofitel Hotel in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. The meeting was held in hybrid format, both in person and over live video conference. Out of the 10 ASEAN member states, 6 foreign ministers attended in person, while Thailand and Brunei confirmed their participation online. For Myanmar, no official representative were assigned to attend, but the country asked to observe the meeting online. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has stated that he wants Japan and Cambodia to deepen its tie and become important partners in maintaining peace in the region and around the world, especially regarding Japan's free and open Indo-Pacific strategy for peace, stability, development, and common prosperity. He made this statement during a meeting with the Deputy Commander of the Royal Cambodian Armed Forces and the Commander of the Royal Cambodian Army, Lieutenant General Hun Man Nait, on Wednesday. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the story.
During the meeting, Lieutenant General Hun Man Nait relayed Prime Minister Hun Sen's greeting message to the Japanese Prime Minister and confirmed his support for commemorating the 30th anniversary of Japanese peacekeeping operations in Cambodia by Japan Self-Defense Forces, which will be celebrated in Sihanoukville, and it means that the strengthening of expanding cooperation between the two countries in the field of defence. Lieutenant General Hun Manet also put forth the idea of enhancing the relationship between the two countries, from the strategic partner to the comprehensive strategic partner if possible in the future. In response, Prime Minister Fumio Kishida asked Lieutenant General Hun Manet to relay this thanks to Prime Minister Hun Sen and the Royal Government of Cambodia for participating in the celebrations of the 30th anniversary of Japan peacekeeping operations, which were the first overseas operations of its kind for Japan within the United Nations framework. He said that the anniversary is a testament to the strong relationship between Japan and Cambodia for the cause of global peace, and added that Lieutenant General Hun Manet visit to the part of the significant anniversary celebration. Japanese Prime Minister further expressed his support to Cambodia's role as a 2022 ASEAN chair, especially for all incentives and activities that the Prime Minister Hun Sen has prepared regarding the resolution of the political crisis in Myanmar. Lieutenant General Hun Manet's current visit to Japan was made an invitation of the Government of Japan to the Ambassador of Japan to Cambodia, Mikiami Morishiro, who informed Prime Minister Hun Sen of this invitation on the 28th of December 2021. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Angkor Enterprise has begun selling boat tickets at the Jongplia tourist port on the Tonle Sap from the 15th of February onwards. Boat tickets are priced at $7 per person for both national and international tourists aged 12 and above. EAC News reporter Robin Lim has more details.
Tourists can buy tickets for two types of boats. Smaller boats with a capacity of 8 people, which require at least 4 tickets to be sold for departure, and large boats with a capacity of 45 people that require at least 9 tickets to be sold for departure. Jong Khmer is a famous floating village in Cambodia located on the Tonle Sap, around 14 kilometers away from Siem Reap City. The floating village attracts many tourists who come to see the beautiful sunset reflected on the surface of the lake, which is famous in this region of the world for its abundance of freshwater fish. Tourists also come to see how the inhabitants of the floating village live on their houseboats and conduct their daily activities on the lake. Robin Lim, EAC News.
Sad news today as the last remaining dolphin, code 035, living in the Onlong Chertil section of the Mekong River, was found dead by a fisherman. The dolphin is estimated to have died around the 12th of February, but the body was found floating in the river on the 15th, according to the director of the Conservation Department of the Fisheries Administrations. EAC News reporter Dashana Gojan has the story.
The director of the Conservation Department of the Fisheries Administration, Ukvibol, has officially reported the death of the last Irrawaddy dolphin living in the Onlong Chertil section of the Mekong River, despite numerous efforts to save its life. The director said that the death of this dolphin is a tragedy for the conservation team as well as for Cambodia as a whole, as this death means that the Onlong Chertil area on the border of Stung Treng Province in Cambodia and Champasak Province in Laos is no longer inhabited by dolphins. The acting director of the Stung Treng Fisheries Administration District, Sam Vichet, reports that the dolphin's body was found at 4:20 a.m. on February 15th, floating by the rocks at the head of Koh Lanor village by a 52-year-old fisherman. He informed the Onlong Chertil Dolphin Conservation Team of his discovery, who then went to retrieve the body. Sam Vichet added that after a thorough inspection by the Dolphin Conservation Team of Stung Treng Fisheries Administration and World Wildlife Fund staff, it was confirmed that the dolphin was a male dolphin over 20 years of age, 2 meters in length and weighing around 110 kilograms. Kong Chanti, the head of the Fishing Community Network in Borei Svai Senche district in Stung Treng province bordering Laos, said that the Mekong River dolphins are revered by Cambodians as sacred animals because they contribute to the livelihood of the community living by the river and provide an important source of income and employment around community-based ecotourism. Ukvibol also added that the Fisheries Administration would work with WWF to build a dolphin statue on the riverbank of Onlong Chertil so that future generations will know that dolphins once lived in this area. The retrieved body of the dolphin will be temporarily stored at the Krati Administrative District. The director added that the conservation team will continue to pay attention to protecting dolphins in the river canyons of Krati and Stung Treng provinces of Cambodia to ensure that the aquatic animals will continue to survive in these areas forever. Darshana Gauchan, EAC News.
Cambodia has reported 444 new COVID-19 cases, including 14 that are imported. There have been 280 patient recoveries and once again, no deaths. Omicron figures surged for the 13th day straight as Cambodia records its second highest daily Omicron total. The kingdom recorded 430 new community and 14 new imported cases of the new variant, meaning that Cambodia has now recorded 4,346 cases of Omicron, 670 imported, and 3,626 community cases. Cambodia's COVID-19 case tally has now climbed to 124,787. The death toll stands at 3,015. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached Cambodia is 119,633, and the tally for imported cases has climbed to 20,427. Healthcare workers are now treating a total of 2,415 patients. Now for a look at news making international headlines this Thursday, February 17th.
Some troops in Russia's military district adjacent to Ukraine are returning to their bases after completing drills, Russia's defense ministry has said on Tuesday, February 15. A large-scale drills across the country has continued, while some southern and western military districts units had completed their exercises and started returning to base. The ministry spokesman Igor Konashenkov has said. The ministry has also published a footage of what it said were tank units of the western and southern military districts returning to their bases. The ministry did not specify where the drills took place. The reported movements run counter to warnings from the United States and Britain that Russia may be poised to invade Ukraine at any time. Moscow has denied ever planning to attack Ukraine, but is demanding legally binding guarantees from the United States and NATO that Kyiv will not be allowed to join the military bloc. Washington and Brussels have so far refused to make such pledges. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz was in Moscow on Tuesday and has met with President Vladimir Putin in a high-stakes mission to avert war.
Debaixo da lama.
An aerial images show the extension of the damage left behind by a mudslide caused by heavy rains on Wednesday, February 16, in the city of Petropolis in Brazil. At least 34 people have died after heavy rain hit Metropolis, located in the mountainous region of Brazil's Rio de Janeiro state. City streets were flooded by downpours, while landslides have also resulted in fatalities. President Jair Bolsonaro, who is in Russia, has asked ministers to help the city in the victims of the storm. Rio de Janeiro's Governor Claudio Castro went to Petropolis on Tuesday night. From Moscow, where he met Russian President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday, Bolsonaro has said he had spoken with the Regional Development Minister Rogerio Marino and Economy Minister Paulo Guedes to secure assistance to the city. Since December, heavy rains have triggered deadly floods and landslides in northeast Brazil and São Paulo state, threatened to delay harvests in the Midwest, and have briefly forced the suspension of mining operations in the state of Minas Gerais.
A tanker truck crashed and overturned in a vacant building and burst into flames on Wednesday. It has spilled 13,000 gallons, or about 50,000 litres of petrol in Long Island, New York, causing a massive fire and shutting down traffic for hours and spilling fuel into the sewer system and into creeks, where it is being contained with booms. The Lazy Boy building was destroyed in a fire and other building was damaged. Nassau County Chief Fire Marshal Michael Utero has said there is no threat to environment at the moment. There is no threat to any of the citizens or any homes. The Coast Guard was helping to map the spill, he has added. The truck driver was injured in the crash and 3 of the 150 firefighters who responded were also treated for injuries. Officials said at a news conference late Wednesday. The cause of the crash was under investigation. The tanker crashed into the vacant Lazy Boy showroom room of the North Center Avenue and Sunrise Highway, about 48 kilometres of New York City. Governor Kathy Hochul said several state emergencies, including Departments of Environment, Conservation and Transport and the state police, were assisting in the response to the explosion and fuel spill. The Environmental Department used a drone to assess potential effects, Hochul has said. The explosion closed down parts of Sunrise Highway, a major road used by commuters.
The large part of the meeting between German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and Russian President Vladimir Putin is about the Russian troops build-up and activities on the Ukrainian border, as well as the question on safety guarantees which Russia formulated. Scholz presented their evaluation of the security situation and how Germany and other European partners see the situation, and that they see the troop build-up as a threat.
Chancellor Olaf Scholz has welcomed the pullback of some Russian troops from near Ukraine on Tuesday, February 15, adding that the diplomatic options to avoid war had not been exhausted. He further says that his position is very clear. His conviction is not in line with the rule of law. He has made his position clear during many occasions already. On the Nord Stream 2, as to the pipeline itself, everybody knows what's going on. Germany has committed to ensuring that the gas transit in Europe works via Ukraine, via Belarus, and via Poland with Nord Stream 1. Based on the overall agreement they have, and they will honor it. Scholz has told a news conference with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow, adding, "The diplomatic possibilities are far from being exhausted. As heads of state and government, it's our damn responsibility in our job to prevent a military escalation in Europe. It is good sign that we are hearing some of the troops are being withdrawn. We hope more such signs will follow," Scholz has also said.
Canada will offer a loan of up to $393 million to support Ukraine, which is bracing for a possible Russian invasion, and is also committed to provide $6.1 million worth of lethal equipment and ammunition, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced on Monday.
Russia has more than 100,000 troops massed near the border of Ukraine. It denies Western accusations that it is planning an invasion, but says it could take an unspecified military technical action unless the range of demands are met, including barring Kyiv from joining the NATO alliance. Russia has suggested on Monday that it was ready to keep talking with the West to try to defuse the security crisis.
As part of the collective G7 response to support Ukraine's economic resilience, today we're announcing that Canada will offer a loan of up to $500 million to the government of Ukraine. I want to thank Deputy Prime Minister Freeland for her leadership on this file and underline that this is in addition to the $120 million loan offered earlier in January. On top of financial support, Canada has already taken steps to help Ukraine defend itself, including with the extension of the training mission Operation Unifier. In light of the seriousness of the situation and following conversations with our Ukrainian partners, I've approved the provision of $7.8 million worth of lethal equipment and ammunition. This responds to Ukraine's specific request and is in addition to the non-lethal equipment we've already provided. The intent of this support from Canada and other partners is to deter further Russian aggression. We're not seeking confrontation with Russia, but the situation is intensifying rapidly, and we are showing our resolve. It's important for Canadians and the world to know that Canada will continue supporting Ukraine and its independence, integrity, sovereignty, including its right to defend itself.
Canada's Prime Minister has told reporters that the goal is to support from Canada and other partners is to dissuade Russia from pursuing an aggression towards Ukraine. In a televised exchange, Putin has shown asking his Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, whether there was a chance of an agreement to address Russia's security concerns or whether it was just being dragged into treacherous negotiations. Western countries have threatened sanctions on unprecedented scale of Russia does not invade. Ukraine is already suffering economic damage from the standoff. A surge in the price of a 5-year credit default swaps on Ukraine sovereign bonds, suggesting that markets gave Kyiv a 42% probability of defaulting.
NATO has accused Russia on Wednesday, February 16th, of sending more troops to a massive military build-up around Ukraine, even as Moscow said that it was withdrawing forces and was open to diplomacy.
Separately, a senior Western intelligence official has warned that Russian military exercises were at their peak stage and the risk of Russian aggression against Ukraine would remain high for the rest of February. At the start of 2 days of talks among NATO defense ministers, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg had appeared unconvinced the threat of a Russian invasion of Ukraine had lessened and has voiced guarded hopes for diplomacy. He has said they have not seen any withdrawal of Russian forces, and of course, that contradicts the message of diplomatic efforts. What the world see is that they have increased the number of troops and more troops are on their way. So far, no de-escalation. Moscow wants to stop the former Soviet state from joining the NATO military alliance. NATO has refused to concede that demand, and defense ministers sought to show a united front on Wednesday. U.S. President Joe Biden warned on Tuesday that more than 150,000 Russian troops were still massed near Ukraine's borders. The senior Western official, speaking on the condition of anonymity, has said intelligence showed the Russian military exercises would be at their most active during the remainder of February. The official has also said that there are no credible signs at this point that there will be any kind of military de-escalation. Russia could now attack Ukraine with essentially no or little to no warning, the official has added.
After the break, I look at all the latest sports news.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
ើលោកអ្នកចិត្តរៀបអាពាហ៍ពិពាហ៍មែនទេហើយពិបាករកក្រុមហ៊ុនថតវីដេអូផ្សាយផ្ទាល់ដែលមានគុណភាពមែនទេអស់កង្វល់រ៉ាទីកាជាក្រុមហ៊ុនទទួលស្គាល់លំដាប់អន្តរជាតិលើសេវាកម្មថតផ្សាយផ្ទាល់គ្រប់កម្មវិធីកម្រិត 4K ដំបូងបង្អស់នៅកម្ពុជារ៉ាទីកាប្រើប្រាស់ឧបករណ៍ទំនើបម៉ាកល្បីធានាគុណភាពការផលិតតាមបច្ចេកវិទ្យាទាន់សម័យរ៉ាទីកានឹងជួយធ្វើឲ្យកម្មវិធីលោកអ្នកកាន់តែមានភាពអស្ចារ្យលោកអ្នកនឹងបានឃើញរាល់សកម្មភាពក្នុងពិធីទៅលើកញ្ចក់ទូរទស្សន៍ទំហំធំកម្រិត 4K និងការបញ្ចាំងលើផ្ទាំងក្រណាត់សព្រមទាំង LED ដែលមានរូបភាពច្បាស់ត្រជាក់ភ្នែកសូមអញ្ជើញកក់ពីឥឡូវនេះតាមរយៈលេខទូរស័ព្ទ012 823 848 017 838 889និង016 823 848រ៉ាហ្វីកាទំនុកចិត្តការទទួលខុសត្រូវនិងគុណភាពខ្ពស់
something, you about to see something. It's coming, we're unstoppable now. Ain't nothing gonna take us down, we're unstoppable now. Fade to black, take a bow, yeah. We're unstoppable now. Here comes.
The doping case of American sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson, who missed the Tokyo Olympics due to a 1-month ban, is different from that of Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva at the Beijing Games, the International Olympic Committee said on Wednesday.
The IOC comments came after Richardson, banned last year for a month for testing positive for cannabis, questioned a decision to allow Valieva to continue competing at the Winter Games amid ongoing doping case. Every single case is very different. Richardson tested positive on 19th of June 2021, quite ahead of the Tokyo Games. IOC spokesman Mark Adams said, the Tokyo Olympics delayed by a year due to pandemic started on July 23. Her results come in early in order of the USADA, US Anti-Doping Agency, to deal with the case at the time. Before the Games, Mrs. Richardson accepted a 1-month period of eligible which began on 28th of June. Richardson was expected to be one of the biggest draws in Tokyo after winning the 100 metres at the US trials. She later said her action to consume cannabis was the result of mourning the death of her mother. On Monday, however, she demanded an answer from the IOC over Valieva's continued participation at the Games. The 15-year-old Russian was tested on December the 25th, 2021, but her results were reported only on February the 8th, a day after she had won team gold in figure skating for the Russian Olympic Committee. No Olympic medals will be awarded at the women's team event or in the single event if she finishes in the top 3 of that competition, pending the resolution of her ongoing doping case. Can we get a solid answer on the difference of Valieva's situation and mine? Richardson wrote on Twitter on Monday, my mother died and I can't run and was favoured for the top 3. The only difference I see is I am a black young lady.
World Anti-Doping Agency WADA President Vitol Banka said he wanted Russian authorities to change the country's doping culture and conduct a thorough investigation into teenage figure skater Kamila Valieva's entourage, with any culprits to be banned for life.
The 15-year-old prodigy was cleared on Monday to compete in her next event at the Beijing Olympics by the Court of Arbitration for Sports (CAS) after a failed drugs test last December, although CAS did not rule on the doping case itself. The doping of children is evil and unforgivable, and the doctors, coaches, and other support personnel who are found to have provided performance-enhancing drugs to minors should be banned for life, and personally, I also think they should be in prison, Banka told Reuters on Monday. The case is now in the hands of Russian anti-doping agencies, RUSADA, which has to set up a hearing to decide on the fate of Valieva, a hot favorite for the women's single in Beijing. If WADA is not satisfied with RUSADA's report, it can appeal to CAS, which is the sport's highest court. We demand that RUSADA completes a strong investigation into the entourage. We will also look into that and make sure that a proper investigation is carried out, said Banka. One of the reasons CAS gave its ruling was that Valieva is a minor and her barring from the further competition in Beijing after she helped the Russian Olympic Committee (ROC) win the team event last Monday would have caused her irreparable harm. Valieva skated on her short program Tuesday, followed by a free skating routine on Thursday. The IOC said earlier on Monday that no medal ceremony would take place if the teenager finishes in the top 3 because she is an athlete with a positive test on her record.
Now let's have a look at the weather and what you can expect tomorrow. And finally, a cute sloth was saved from electrocution and certain death after climbing up an electrical pole in Colombia's Antioquia province. After receiving calls from worried residents in the rural town of Taranza, workers from Colombian Public Services Holding Company Expresa Pública de Medellín, EPM, went to the rescue.
Sloths are known for their slowness of movement. They spend most of their lives hanging upside down in trees of the tropical rainforests of South America and Central America. They are considered to be most closely related to anteaters. They have an extremely low metabolic rate, which means they move at a languid, sluggish pace through the trees. On average, sloths travel 41 yards per day, and this cute sloth has managed to climb on a post and resting on electric wires in Colombia. Sloths are not dangerous to humans if left alone in their natural habitat. If threatened, they can lash out with their long claws, which could cause damage. So with safety measures in place, 38-year-old EPM employee Victor Hugo Lopez, who had been working nearby, has climbed up on the post and reached out to the sloth, who at first was fearful and kept moving further away from him. The sloth finally came to its senses when Lopez spoke to it in a soothing voice and has grabbed onto a broom held out by Lopez. In a dramatic 20-minute operation, the fortunate sloth was carefully brought down from the electrical cables and released back into the wild later that day after suffering from no injuries.
Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, check out our website eacnews.asia or search EAC News on Telegram or at your favorite app store. More from EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We will see you then.